That's the biggest thing, a statement of empathy. Like, as soon as she gets done ranting about something that is causing her a great deal of stress or insecurity, to just be like, I hear you.
Welcome back to the Glen Gilbert Connection. I'm your host, Glen Gilbert, and I'm joined once again by Chris Ninja Bulik from the Good Faith Podcast, a coach known for honesty, nuance, and that signature called it like it is clarity. As we once again discuss some of Reddit's most chaotic, heartfelt, and brutally honest relationship questions. Just a quick disclaimer, everybody. These opinions are our own, and our suggestions are not intended as a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek advice of your licensed healthcare professional. Chris, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course, Glenn. And I just want to offer a quick congratulations to you and to myself for finally going viral, and I hope we can crack the code again.
Yes, we're going to keep riding that wave. But this is our third round of Q&A of Reddit relationship questions, and it seems to be something where our viewers and listeners really enjoy it and really are liking to provide their own input. And it's been kind of a cool wave of what's going on. And I think most people are aligned on the same way of how to treat some of these questions or how to respond to some of these questions people are posing out there. So we're going to dive right into it with this first one she's a 25-year-old female whose best friend of 5 years confesses his love for her. The kicker is that she's a lesbian and now she's unsure of what to do. So basically, the summary here is a woman who's been openly lesbian for a decade has a long-standing online friend group, including a guy named Thomas, the guy she's closest to and often hangs out with one-on-one. After a night of heavy drinking at a group meetup, Thomas follows her outside and drunkenly confesses he's been in love with her for years. He claims her past attempt at dating He claims her past attempt at dating a non-binary assigned male partner meant she was open to men, and that this gave him hope. He admits he's compared every woman he's dated to her. She's stunned, disgusted, and immediately uncomfortable, especially because he's been extra touchy all night. I like your reactions, Chris. It's already hitting the spot. So when she tells him she's too drunk to handle the conversation, he panics, pushes for a timeline, and she bolts. She leaves the party, gets an Uber, and now feels emotionally wrecked. Thomas hasn't reached out, and she's terrified that this will blow up the entire friend group dynamic. Thoughts?
All right. Well, all sexual orientation aside, this just sounds like a bad. This just sounds like a bad way to pursue and to court a woman. Like even if she was heterosexual, he was heterosexual. Just confessing your love, I don't think it's a very good strategy. Add on to that she's sexually incompatible with the guy. She likes women. I don't think that she should be. I don't think that she should be forced to befriend him. I don't think it will blow up the friend group. She should have the ability to comfortably just say no, I'm gonna reject your romantic advances, and I just like you as a friend.
Yeah, that's a really good point of just saying, hey, let's just keep this between you and I, but this is just not going to happen. And if you can't handle it, we need to talk about other arrangements. The biggest thing I thought I took away from this and I think this happens with heterosexual friends of opposite sex, right? It goes into who's friend zoning who. And she was clearly, established she's a lesbian. And he's friended her thinking, oh, I have this opening because she's dating this guy or this person who is, a non-binary assigned male partner. So she dated this non-binary assigned male partner as a way of in. So he's befriended her with, I think I want to call it false intentions of being a friend. They were friends for 5 years. And then he sees this, to his interpretation, as an opening to think that, oh, she actually is into guys. Maybe she's just bisexual or whatnot. And then, unloads on her when she was like, whoa, And it goes back to a whole, can you have friends of the opposite sex? And unless you have an abundance, and we've talked about this before, unless you have an abundance mindset and you already have, you're able to establish female friends, as a guy, to establish female friends without the intent of sleeping with them. Yeah. And I think you have to have, you need to be in a position where you have probably a lot of female friends, and you also have probably a lot of women you're already dating. So you don't feel or have that, behind this, it's basically misleading her is what I'm coming across is like, that's not really a cool way to lead or, if that's your strategy of making friends.
And it's like, we always talk about like one-itis. It sounds like he's got a bad case of one-itis. And like, if he had 5 penthouse models that were begging to be in a relationship with him, would he really be in love with her? I doubt it. I think he's probably just like, he's built up familiarity with this one girl. He has gotten to know her, seen all of her flaws, and he can live with the few flaws because her redeeming qualities are that much more present in like him knowing her. And so he's probably not talking to anybody else. He's probably just only talking to her, and like and what's the word, like he's like pining for her. And yeah, like I think most girls, I think mostly just mostly every girl does not want to be like put on a pedestal. They want to be treated like a regular human being and not treated like a goddess, like they are holier than thou. They want to just be treated like a friend first.
Right. Yeah. And when you pedestalize, 100%, when you're pedestalizing, you're basically leaving all the decision making up to the woman, and most women don't prefer that. They want to see a man have some type of decision making capability, some type of leadership qualities. What's interesting here is that she even said that he's been comparing her to all the other women he's dated. Like, he admits he's compared every woman he's dated to her. So he's already really digging her, knowing that, she's a lesbian, knowing that he's not going to have this relationship that he really wants. Like, that's something to where a guy should be like saying, hey, I've now pedestalized her, to your point. I'm comparing her to every other woman I'm hanging out with or dating or trying to date or whatever. And obviously he's really liking her. Now, like you said, if he's doing this one-itis thing and if he's pedestalizing her, of course it's going to end in disaster, which is what happened. But if he, like you said, has more of an abundance in his world of maybe more women he's dating, more female friends, this probably wouldn't have been an issue. So it's a message, I think, to the guys to say, hey, if you're going to have a friend that's a woman, think of her as a guy. Michael Sartain teaches us this. It's like, if you're going to have a female friend, think of her as just another guy. Give her the fist bumps with your fist and be like, hey, dude, hey, bro, and treat her as just another one of your friends, one of your guy friends. The moment you start treating her as a potential date or a potential girlfriend, it's over. You're now pining for her, and you're pedestalizing her, especially if you start comparing her to every girl. It's like, this is someone I'll never be able to catch, but just in case, I'm going to wait to shoot my shot. Right? Just one of those things of where don't lead yourself in a point of waiting for your shot. Go create your own world and develop an abundance mindset, not a lack of abundance.
Yeah, and just one last thing. I can't remember if it was Rollo Tomasi or Neil Strauss or like Mystery. Like back, like, a decade ago, I read all their work, and one of them had a concept of like being a hunter, and there are those who hunt with shotguns, and there are those who hunt with rifles. And like the guy who hunts with a rifle, he'll maybe be 500 yards away, and he's like looking through a scope at one target. If he hits the target, good. If he doesn't hit the target, he doesn't eat. But like the guy who hunts with the shotgun kind of just gets up close. He's just, spraying pellets all over the place, and he's got like a better chance of hitting his target, and even if he doesn't hit the target, he's kind of just like moving on, always scanning, always like mobile. And I try and be more of a shotgun hunter than a rifle hunter.
Yeah, I take it one step more, where with Michael Sartain's teachings of social circle, women decide you don't decide them. They start pursuing you because you're living a life of abundance.
Yeah.
You have you're showing that you have abilities, that you have, it's like about your friend group, your work group, your drive, how you take care of yourself. And it's just all of these attraction triggers. And then you create friends and treat them all like your friends, male or female. You all treat them like male friends. And then what happens is your friends that are women will start introducing you to their friends because they know that you're a safe guy. They've already gotten that out of the way. Yeah. All right. So a 25-year-old female who is 32 describes, so her boyfriend, so she's 25, her boyfriend is 32. She describes him as that, let me start over. A 25-year-old female's boyfriend who's 32 describes her as hysterical to their friends, but she doesn't believe she actually is. So again, this is another summary. So a woman who's been with her boyfriend for 3 years, she's noticing this pattern. He praises her privately, but when he tells stories about her to friends, he turns her into a character, frantic, angry, jealous, or hysterical, even when she's simply focused on making a normal observation. She has autism, and certain routines she prefers not to have disrupted, but she's never behaved the way he describes, according to her. Her friends say that they've never seen her act that way either. So the most recent incident involved a coworker, so a very attractive woman who all the men at work openly crush on. The girlfriend made a neutral comment saying that in male-dominated workplaces, men often latch onto the few women present. Her boyfriend interpreted this as her fishing for compliments or trying to bait him into saying the coworker was prettier. So he later retold the moment to their friends as a joke, saying, we can't make it to the bar tonight because whenever she drinks or has a drink or two, she starts bombarding me with questions about whether our coworker is pretty or if I'm cheating on her. He frames her story as funny, insists she shouldn't feel bad, and uses humor to publicly paint her as insecure or unhinged, even though none of it matches her actual behavior. Now she's questioning herself, wondering why she's truly acting the way he claims or whether he's using jokes to undermine her socially.
Oh God, I'm not even sure. Like I'll start with she's on the spectrum, so it is possible that her perception could be unreliable to an extent. So I am not sure. I'm not sure about that. And yeah, like it is just a common. It is just like a guarantee that if you are in an adult relationship with a person and you both have jobs, like there's a high likelihood that competition anxiety on both sides may present itself, and it's just important to be secure in yourself and confident in yourself, and to believe that the person that you are in a relationship with is going to respect you and value you and choose you every day. And I think that there's probably a little bit of like his side, her side, and the truth to this one. Maybe he might have like a little bit of affection or for this female coworker. Like she sounds like she probably is pretty, and I think that the OP is like right that in male dominated workplaces, a lot of the times the men will like find the few women that are present in the workplace and kind of elevate their value from a dating and mating standpoint. Even if they're objectively a 7, their scarcity in the workplace might elevate them to like an 8. And so he's probably doing a little bit of that, and she's probably getting a little insecure, and and he's probably calling her out on her insecurity and calling her hysterical, which I don't think is ever really helpful. Like, I think it makes a person feel validated and heard when you hear them out and validate them, and then you just like follow that up by reassuring them that there's nothing for them to worry about.
Yeah, agreed. I think in this particular instance, he's talking about her to their friends. He's shaming her for her actions. She's admitted that she has autism, so she's on the spectrum, and it doesn't sound like there's much sympathy or empathy in regards to that. Privately, he's complimenting her. Publicly, he's shaming her for her actions and trying to embarrass her, which I think that strategy is it's in reverse of what I would think a guy should do. It's like he should be complimenting her, especially when their friends are around, and privately saying, hey, I noticed you're struggling with this, and saying, you know, maybe even reassuring her or coming to the point of like, I have no interest. If this is going to be an issue, we need to really talk about it. Or, you know, if there's something that basically just talk about it, but to publicly shame her and then privately compliment her, it's kind of backwards in my opinion.
Yeah. And I've been in the exact same position in relationships past, and it's something that I'm actively trying to improve upon, which is like, kind of like you want to feel like you're amongst like confidential trustees when you're with your friends, and if you're having issues, like your friends are the only person that you really want to talk to, you know, like you're not going to talk about it to a stranger. I guess you could, you know, do like telehelp or something like that, but like most of the time your friends are your trusted board of advisors, and I have done my fair share of like venting and spilling my emotions to my friends, and if you end up getting back with the girl, or if you end up like getting over the conflict, a lot of the times your friends will like dig it up or act like a different way, and then that just like causes more tension down the road. Yeah. So it's really important to protect your partner's reputation at all costs.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. Yeah, 100%. I think every guy should have a small circle of guys that will basically take a bullet for you, you know, just someone who's going to go to the nth degree for you. And those guys should be a guy that's going to basically tell you to your face if you're doing something wrong, but behind your back, tell everyone, you know, your positive qualities, right? Yeah. And that I think will help keep some balance.
I think this guy, a little bit like an example would be like an Alfred Pennyworth, kind of like when Bruce Wayne and Alfred Pennyworth are together, Alfred will tell him anything that he needs to hear, but when he's like out in public, Alfred's just at the like cafe with his like coffee cup, just like, you know, like cheers, like good to see you, but he like doesn't say anything to him. Yeah,
and he's not gonna talk shit behind his back either. But you know, one on one, he's gonna be like, "You're up. Yeah. You're making mistakes here. This is what you're doing. This is how it appears." And I think it's really helpful because guys kind of get stuck in a mindset of like, "Okay, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay." But this guy who I trust with everything is telling me what he's seeing, and it's not what I think is right.
Yeah.
And that should give the guy a clue of like, oh, I should probably change this up and have a different approach to this. But yeah, shaming her publicly to all of your friends is not going to be very helpful for, I guess, a good relationship, at least long term. I mean, that's just not a long-term relationship. And so she needs to decide whether she wants to continue doing this or not, because if he's fed up with it, it sounds like he's going to continue shaming her until she moves away, you know, does something, rather than saying, hey, this is not something, you know, privately saying, hey, this is something to where I can no longer deal with it. I'm unable to handle this type of relationship with a constance. Yeah. What I think is testing me on my commitment to you, my monogamy commitment to you. Yeah. And to your point of like, hey, you're working on it, I'm working on it too. I'm not saying I'm free of this. I've crashed and burned big time by not taking responsibility on something like this and just being like, oh, geez. So it's a great example of, things that we are both working on. All right, moving on. So a 22-year-old female's boyfriend who is 25 says he trusts her but doesn't want her going clubbing. She wants to know if this boundary is unfair. So to her description, she's like, my boyfriend says he trusts me, but doesn't want me going clubbing because he's worried about my safety around other men, not because he doesn't trust me. She says, I don't often go, only want to go once or twice on holiday with my female friends for my birthday. And we're always just going out to dance while staying together and being careful. I feel it's unfair that I should stop because of how other people might behave. Am I being unreasonable for thinking this boundary is unfair, or is it a fair boundary?
This is like did you rip this out of like my girlfriend's journal? Because this is like, I believe this is probably one of the greatest relationship issues in modern day. And I will say my opinion on it is that men and women receive validation from the opposite sex in two entirely different ways. Men receive validation from women based on women that choose to have sex with them. Women receive validation from men based on who will give them attention. So an ideal relationship, I believe, is when the man is only receiving validation from his girlfriend who is having sex with him, and a woman is only receiving validation from a man who is paying attention to her. And anything more than that is apt to be extremely problematic. And as a man, you don't want to be controlling, you don't want to be insecure, all the buzzwords that they will label a man if they like establish this boundary, which I do believe is fair. Because I would highly doubt that she would be okay with her man having sex with other women. And so like what I believe is the status quo in modern relationships is that women are isolating their man sexually, so they are becoming the sole arbiter of his validation from the opposite sex, while they're also keeping their options for validation from the opposite sex wide open. So that's why I think that it is unfair to go out to the clubs as a woman in a relationship. I think maybe yeah, if it's her birthday, sure, that's okay. It would really need to be like extremely special occasions where I think that it is okay, like birthdays, bachelorette parties. But yeah, like you're opening a can of worms. Like his concern for her safety is 100% valid. Like what is she and all of her 130-pound girlfriends going to do if a thug were to like encounter them on the street? Like women need to understand that they believe in this patriarchal society. They would choose the bear over the man because men are so dangerous, yet they want to go out into like a metropolitan hub where there's thousands of these dangerous men, and they want to just like get intoxicated and dance around them and like receive attention from them. Then what happened? Like, like anything could happen, and your boyfriend is trying to limit the risk of any danger begetting you, and I think that you should respect that. And once again, like only go out on extremely specialized occasions such as birthdays and weddings, I guess. Right.
Yeah, my first thought here was, why isn't the boyfriend going with her? So this is a younger couple, early 20s. He's mid 20s, 25. She's 22. So she's just getting into the clubbing scene. She says she's only going out every once in a while. But why isn't he going with her? And if he's worried about her security and safety, isn't that what he's supposed to do? Like, how here, I'm going to trust you with your own security. And it sounds like we're basically avoiding the obvious question here is like, why isn't he going with her? Does she not want him to go, or does he not want to go and doesn't want her to go? So he's using this excuse of, yeah, I'm worried about your safety around other men. So I don't, so there's a lot of questions as to why is he not going? And if it's more of, she's like, I don't care, this is a boundary, whether it's safety or whether you don't want me to go or whatever, is that even fair that you don't want me to go? And again, granted, this is a younger couple, and she's just starting to experience what the club scene is all about. So she's getting a ton of attention. And she's probably also, I can only speculate as to everything else, but going to a club, you're going to be dressed up for the event, right? And when we go to clubs, it's not like we're going to be wearing our sweats and baggy clothes. We're going to be, looking good. Yeah. So, like, to your point, she's probably getting a bunch of more attention from other guys. And if that's the quote unquote safety he's talking about, the attention from other guys, okay. To the dude, I would be like, hey man, if you don't want her going out without you, you should go with her. But if you don't want her going, period, this is part of her lifestyle. You should either accept it or move on.
And like, honestly, for a person in a relationship, I don't believe that the club is like a very great environment, which is conducive for building trust and stuff like that. Like, and
you don't want to go to a club to build trust with me.
Like, because I've been in this situation. I've taken my girlfriend to the club. There are some guys that are savages. They will hit on your girl and try and connect with her right in front of your face. And what do you got to do in that situation? You can be as diplomatic as you want and try and like extract her from that interaction. But there are some guys, they're like, to the credit of the like feminists, there are some men that are truly dangerous, and you might find yourself in a fist fight defending the honor of your girlfriend. And especially the more beautiful and the more like provocative that your girl dresses out in public, you're gonna just be having to it's gonna be a stressful night of you just shielding her from male attention. And I forget what I wanted to say, but a lot of women do this like thing where they say like, what you don't trust me, like you don't trust that I will be loyal to you. That speaks to like a bigger issue because I'm loyal to you. All right, like we could flip that on the exact other side because I don't. Why would I trust you when you are like spitting in my face? You're playing into the same dynamic that we're like talking about, which is that you're keeping your options for male validation wide open, and you are isolating my outlets for female validation to only you being the sole arbiter of that. And we know that women are hypergamous in nature. That means that they are always scanning for a more suitable male mate. Now, if your girl goes to the dive bar in Boulder, Colorado, is she likely to find a more suitable male mate from her scanning? It's unlikely. Now, I don't know what city this couple lives in, but like, let's just say like, if she goes out there and she's looking really good and she's in like a city like New York or Miami or Los Angeles or something, you might trust her, but do you trust that her hypergamy is not going to be triggered if she were to encounter Michael B. Jordan or Usher or Chris Brown or Clavicular or anything like that? Like a female's loyalty is circumstantial, and it's like, and it is subject to her emotional state. So if, and it's dependent on like 1,000 different factors. It is not unconditional. It is conditional upon all those factors. So if a perfect storm of her cycles line up with her emotional pit or valley, and like the right guy were to come along and he doesn't have any regard for your relationship, and he's extremely attractive and he has like really good game, anything could happen. And this guy is simply trying to limit risk, and I think that she should respect him and at least hear him out on that.
There's a lot to this one, and it's another one of, I think, the guy making decisions on how do we want to be running or leading the relationship. And the decision here is, I'm going to allow you to do this. And I know, so kind of backing up a little bit, Michael Sartain Teachings talks about the woman probably has full intention, like, I am not going to cheat, 100% not going to cheat. Then you put her in a position of where she might get approached or gets attention from other guys. And okay, so we go to the bar or go to the club and getting attention from others. So the cheating, the 100% I'm not going to cheat may be reduced down to, well, it's 80%, because we're putting yourself in a position of where we're getting some validation from other men. And then it's like, hey, we got invited to this party in this penthouse. We're just with friends. It's this party from the DJ. There's going to be a lot of people there. It sounds like a lot of fun. I'm still with a friend, blah, blah, blah. So that need, or that getting the validation, so that I'm not going to cheat has dropped from 100% to 80%. So now you're in a penthouse where there's probably dropped down to 50%, not going to cheat without even recognizing it. I mean, intentionally not going to cheat 100%. Now it's been reduced in half just because of the surroundings you're in. And then if there's drugs or any type of, further validation, and here's this DJ, he's hitting on me. I mean, it could reduce down to zero without her even being like intentional with it. It's just the surroundings she's put herself in. So one approach would be, hey, if you feel the need to go out and get validation from other men and put yourself in a position where that's what the situation is about. You're not you're not going to the grocery store. You're not going to like a hike with just your girls. You're going to a place where men will approach you, and probably a lot of men, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's always a good approach to say, hey, that's fine. If you want to do that, put yourself in the driver's seat of like, hey, can I handle this or not? And this guy sounds like he's coming with excuses to say, hey, I'm worried about your safety, but I'm not going to go with you. So you are going to be the person responsible for your safety. And you're going to be in a position where other guys are going to approach you, but I don't want you to do that. And it's a boundary of mine because I fear for your safety. I think he's just dodging the question. I think, yeah, she's probably getting attention. He, for whatever reason, is not going with her. But he's not, acknowledging like, hey, maybe this is something I can't handle. She really likes to go out to the clubs. I don't like that. And it's like, okay, maybe he should walk away.
Every single woman completely understands the double standard of club culture and how it is not conducive for a relationship. And if they don't, like, let me hear them offer their approval of their man regularly attending the strip club. They all know that the strip club is an environment that is directly opposite of normal clubs, where the men are being pursued and courted by women, and they know that is dangerous. They don't want their man receiving any validation from other women. And so they all put their foot down, and like very rarely do I hear women like, yeah, my guy goes to the strip club. It's healthy for him to dance and listen to the music and go out with his friends. Like they all expressly forbid it. And then they expect men to just, they expect their boyfriends to just be like, yeah, she likes to dance and stuff like that. Yeah, like maybe she does like to dance. But if she is attractive, like if your girlfriend is a hideous beast, then you could probably let her go out and no harm will come of it. But if she's like a very attractive woman, there's always a danger of John Summit or, Pauly D or it could just be some random ass random ass DJ, some random frontman of a band, like any guy who has status could be lurking at that club, and he could decide that he wants to pursue your girl, and what are you going to do about it? Like, you're out of sight, out of mind. And Michael Sartain says it is alpha to be there, it is beta to be away. When you are away, like, that's when the girls will play, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. You could either put your foot down and tell her no, you're not going out, or you can try and appear secure and confident and trusting, and all that is just like you lacking frame by allowing her to overstep boundaries that you should have well established.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of know what your own boundaries are. Try not to control her, and you can always say, hey, if that is something you enjoy doing, great, knock yourself out. It's just something where you're intentionally putting yourself in a position where you desire, whether it's consciously or not, you're going to get validation from other men. And if that's something that's very, very appealing to you, that's fine. That's cool. I wish you the best, and move on. Keep the decision making for yourself. Don't force her to do anything else. If that's who she is and that's what she wants to do, cool. Great. She needs a lot of validation, move on. But I think a guy is in a position to understand where his limits are. Are you going to date? If you have an opportunity and to date, say, an Instagram model or Miss, Swimsuit USA, or someone who is obviously getting, they're going to put themselves out there on Instagram. They're getting a lot of attention from guys. This, and you have an opportunity to date this person. It's up to the man to be like, I need to decide whether or not this is something I can handle. And if I'm comfortable with it, and I'm going to be comfortable with it, cool. If I'm not going to be comfortable with it, I shouldn't even pursue trying to have any kind of committed relationship with her.
Yeah, and a lot of guys who have like an extensive history of sleeping with like dimes, and they a lot of the time they settle down with sevens, because like sevens just don't come with the same headache as tens. You're not having to guard her constantly, and yeah, you could have all the trust in the world for a woman's good intentions, and I believe that most of these women are well intentioned. They're just trying to go out and just dance with their friends. You mean to tell me that they're going to go into their pocketbook and buy a $27 margarita when Joe Schmo here at the bar is willing to pay for it for them for free? Maybe the first margarita, maybe the second margarita. At some point, they're going to become financially strained, unless they're like Melinda Gates, and they're going to be like, you know what? Yeah, this guy seems respectful and honorable, and he's asking me if I would like a espresso martini, and I'm gonna take him up on it. And then all it takes is that, and there's social lubricant in liquor, and their inhibitions become lowered, and that numerical likelihood of them cheating goes from 0% to 15%, and then to 30%, and before you know it, there's a coin flip about whether your woman is going to, and it doesn't even have to be her having sex to be cheating. If she follows a guy and he follows her, then there's this wide open door for them to develop exposure to each other, and she might see something on his Instagram that's extremely attractive, and he might look a whole lot more appetizing than he does when he's just alone at the club.
Yeah, I think you kind of touched on hypergamy, and going back to how much attention does a woman need? If she's someone that's going to be like, no, I really enjoy going to the clubs, and not even admitting, it's insecure for you to think that I'm going to go out to the clubs and cheat on you. You're just being insecure. I should do what I want. Like, that's fine if she wants to say that or think that, but the reality of the situation is she's putting herself in the potential to find either wittingly or unwittingly a bigger, better deal, right? Someone could be not just like, hey, let me buy you a drink. It's going to be like, hey, like I mentioned earlier, hey, do you want to go to this penthouse party with the DJ?
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to, bunch of us are going out to Dubai, or we're going to go, out to this beach club, or I own this beach club, or blah, 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 blah. There's a million scenarios you can come up with where the guy that she's currently with probably can't provide that. So going out to these social places and in places where a woman's, validation is going to be notched up 10, 100, 1,000x, it's like, hey, the man should be either comfortable with that and know that reality, or move on. Why suffer through a relationship, and why try to control somebody else who wants that type of world? She's always looking for the bigger, better deal, the BBD, right? If that's what she wants, that's what she wants, man. Trying to convince her otherwise.
You better hope that your girl's only looking for that BBD and not like another kind of BBD when she goes out to the club.
That's another story. Yeah. All right. So if you're enjoying this conversation, make sure you check out Chris's work. You can find him on YouTube at Good Faith Podcast. And while you're here, like, subscribe, share, and follow us so you never miss out on these honest, growth-focused conversations. Let's continue. All right. So she's like, my 30-year-old female, this is talking, this 30-year-old female, her boyfriend, who is 32-year-old male, says he needs time to think about our relationship, and it's my fault. So she is with her boyfriend for 2.5 years. They've talked about a future together, and they are in the process of buying a house together. And she says, it's my fault that he wants to break up with me. I'm a very anxious person, and recently, after starting a new job, I've been very stressed and take it out on him. Sometimes when I've had a stressful day at work and he is busy with his other responsibilities, like visiting his grandparents or exercising, I would accuse him of not wanting to spend time with me, not loving me. This has been going on for maybe once a month for about 6 months now. Yesterday was the last straw for him, and he said he needed time to think about our relationship. This has been a wake-up call for me, and I know I've been toxic, and I want to change for him. I can't see my life without him. I don't know what to do while waiting for him to give me a definitive answer. I've been crying nonstop, and I really want to talk to him, but he says he wants to be alone. What is your advice on what I should do? 2.5-year relationship with an anxious attachment.
Does she say her attachment style?
No, she doesn't. That's my interpretation, where she's stressing about work. She knows this is, she's taking accountability for it, which is interesting. But she would accuse him of not wanting to spend time with her and not loving her, even though they were going on 2.5 years. If he's doing stuff with other people, that's when the accusations start. Like, her examples were if he's visiting his grandparents or if he's exercising, I would accuse him of not wanting to spend time with me and not loving me. This has been going on for maybe once a month for about 6 months now.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he finally said he needs time to think about our relationship. So what I thought, I'll give you time to digest this one, but what I thought about this is, I think just the response of, hey, I need time to think about this relationship. It's been going on, we're together for 2.5 years. This is a constant thing. She says it's been going on for once a month, at least once a month for about 6 months now. So the closer they're getting together, the longer the relationship, she's starting to be more anxious when he's not around. And if you have this anxious attachment issue, it doesn't matter where he's going or what he's going to do. And I think this is for both people, male or female. If your partner or the one you're dating is doing things when they're not around, you're accusing them of things that are not true, or you're telling them, how they really feel, like, you don't love me. I know all these accusations where there's basically no evidence other than your own feelings of insecurity. That's a wake-up call to yourself to say, hey, I need to work on this relationship, or I need to work on myself rather than depending on this relationship and depending on him to fix it for me. So and this is the same for guys. If guys have this anxious attachment where you're just like constantly going, hey, I'm getting upset because she's away or whatever, that's upon you to start fixing yourself, not depending upon somebody else to fix you for her. That's where it's like, hey, maybe this person is right in this situation. For her, I would say, he's probably right. You need to, he's thinking about the relationship, which means I don't want to break up with her, but I don't like how I'm being treated. I don't want to say these things because I like the relationship, but this is getting to a point of where I can't handle it anymore, and I need to decide whether or not I want to be in it. And it's like he's just delaying the inevitable. And he needs to cut it off.
Yeah, and especially
she needs to take therapy.
Especially with the circumstances that you mentioned, such as going to the gym or going to his grandma's house, like that is very harmless behavior, and she should encourage and support him to engage in those behaviors and not like try and stifle his social interactions, especially when they're like harmless.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just she needs to recognize that she has an issue that she needs to take care of. And right now, as long as they stay in the relationship, she's always going to be dependent upon him to take up the slack. It's okay to say, hey, I have this anxious attachment issue that I'm working on. And, let's be honest and straightforward with this, like this, having this discussion, like, hey, I'm really beginning to like you. And I think this is for guys and gals. Hey, I'm really beginning to like you. I have this personality disorder. I had this issue that's developed when I was a kid, and now I've carried over to an adult, and I'm realizing it. And, I need to work on it, rather than having somebody else suffer through a relationship and you constantly are trying to convince them to stay in it when you're working on your own stuff. This person's not going to correct it for you. People are not going to correct things for you. This is something where people have to take responsibility and start dealing with it themselves and not dependent upon somebody else to fix it for them.
Yeah.
All right. So this will be the final question. How can I stop planning my response instead of really listening? So this man, he's 32 years old. He's been with his partner for 4 years. She's 31. And he states, I've recently noticed a communication habit that I really like to improve. Whenever we're having an important conversation, I catch myself thinking about what I want to say next before she's even finished speaking. I don't think I'm doing it because I want to win an argument or interrupt. It feels more like my brain automatically jumps ahead instead of staying focused on what she is saying in the moment. The frustrating part is that I genuinely care about understanding her, and after the conversation, I'll sometimes realize I missed details because I was busy organizing my own thoughts. I can see how this could make someone feel unheard, even if that isn't my intention. For people who used to do this, what actually helped you become a better listener? Were there any specific habits or techniques that made a noticeable difference?
Well, I'll start by, it seems like this guy is coming from a place of care, which is good, and he seems like he genuinely wants to improve. And so I believe that any human who does genuinely want to improve will. So, and it seems like he loves her and he wants to be better for her, and so that's good. So I would just say practice present moment awareness, like be in the moment, listen to her, and I mean, I guess I don't know. I
think you're on the right track. I think being present is great. Another suggestion I would provide, if this was my buddy, to be like, provide a sense of empathy or sympathy. Like, start to understand. Even if she's maybe being accusatory or something like that, she's coming from a space of probably an emotional situation. And to start thinking, rather than taking it personally, saying, what is she going through and why is she, maybe feeling this way? She may be feeling a little insecure. She may be feeling a little unsafe. She may be feeling like something's happening to where she needs to correct it and it makes her nervous. Whatever the situation is, and as guys in general, our innate nature, our biological nature is to fix it. We want to fix it. And this guy's description, they're both in their early 30s. I was doing the same thing. It's like, all I want to do is fix this problem for you. And there's an SNL skit where the woman has a nail in her head. She's like, I've got these headaches and it's just really bad. And he's like, well, I'll just take the nail. She's like, you're not even listening to me. I want to tell you just how much pain I'm suffering in my head. It's these excruciating. Let me take the nail out. No. Stop. You're not, that kind of back and forth. But there's some validity to that joke, because guys are going to interrupt because all we want to do is solve your problem. We want to make you feel better, because then we're going to jump to like, here, this is the best way I think. This is going to help you. This will be the best way to fix it. I'm going to fix the problem. Rather than saying, let me take a moment to understand where she's coming from, put myself in her shoes, show some empathy, even if she's like, in somewhat being either passive aggressive or trying to attack in some way. She's probably feeling some sense of insecurity or sense of like, I'm not safe right now and I want you to reassure me. And so my first reaction, for example, is to lash out at those people that I'm not feeling safe with. And it may not even be something that you're doing. It may be something to where, hey, this is a boundary or whatnot. And she just may be a little concerned, or she feels unsafe about the boundary. Like, you're going to leave her with this boundary, and that may not even be the case. So present moment awareness, I think it's great. Taking some empathy or sympathy as to where is she coming from, and listening to what is she saying, and is there something that's creating a fear?
Yeah. And
acknowledging that. Go, what I hear is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is like just like a statement of empathy. Like, as soon as she gets done ranting about something that is causing her a great deal of stress or insecurity, to just be like, so, like, I hear you. Like, just saying I hear you, and actually hearing her, actually practicing present moment awareness while she's venting to you, I hear you. You don't like the way that I treat your mother. Like, I hear you, and I will actively do my best to like be better at that. And then, effective communication is hard. And like, it sounds like this guy is genuinely interested in improving the way that him and his girlfriend effectively communicate. And so I would just say, practice present moment awareness, practice empathy, and like articulate your empathy and articulate your attentiveness by like paying attention to what it is that she has to say. What you have to say, it's not even really important. Like, I don't think most women are. I don't think most women are interested in what men have to say. Like, they're interested in what we have to do, but like they kind of. I think a lot of women just see men as just these big, stupid, like knuckle dragging cavemen that are just like, oh, me go to work now, me pay the bills. Like, I don't think they're actually like interested in what you have to say. So take a little bit of solace in that fact that your woman probably looks at you just like a big, stupid Neanderthal, and your only job is to like make her feel validated, make her feel heard. And returning back to what we have said in the past, like, if you're like a good dynamic for a relationship is that she is the sole arbiter of your sexual conduct, and you are the sole arbiter of her attention that she receives from men. So if you are not giving her attention, it's going to be very bad. You need to honor your role as being the sole arbiter of her male attention. So pay attention. Yeah. I would just add that the bad behavior that, if making accusations of you don't feel this way, or you're just ignoring me, or all this stuff where you're getting accusations of how you feel, that should be a boundary that shouldn't be crossed. If someone's telling you how you should feel, that's kind of, no, that's out of bounds. Otherwise, bad behavior, or if there's something to where you're being accused, if you're not listening, it's like, okay, take a moment,
listen to what she has to say, put yourself in her shoes, provide a solution. But if it starts becoming bad behavior, just ignore it. Just be like, yeah, whatever. Nope, not going to do that, and move on. You don't dwell on it. You don't acknowledge it. You don't feed it, which is the worst. That's where you start arguing and debating a woman, and you're going to lose.
Yeah,
it's just you're going to lose.
I had the blessing on Thursday night of just having like a pounding migraine at 2:00 in the morning while I was being like lectured by my girlfriend, and for like the first time ever, because I'm raised by a strong, powerful, independent woman who like instilled a lot of sass and a lot of opinions in me. So like I can argue with the best of them, but like for the first time on Thursday night, I was just like, I wanted to just lay my head down, close my eyes, and I just like rolled over in the argument, and it was actually like, it was good, like I was just listening and just like responding every now and again, and it was nice to not have to like combat, and just be present, but not a combative force.
Yeah, you don't feed into that argument. Don't take things personal. Bad behavior should be ignored. But crossing the boundary of how you should feel should be known. That's a boundary that cannot be crossed, because that does lead us to that's where it's over. When you start telling, for me it's like once you start telling me how I should and shouldn't feel, I'm not going to be dictated by somebody else on how I should and shouldn't feel. I lead my life. I'm not going to let anybody else do it. Yeah. All right. So that wraps it up for today. Chris, where can people find you?
Guys, I got a podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, Samsung Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, any other place that I didn't mention. The Good Faith Podcast. I'm the profile picture, and I hope to see you there.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for your time, Chris. If this episode gave you something to think about, share it with someone who's ready to grow with intention. Until next time, stay grounded and keep doing the work.